show you how to make polenta out of popcorn kernels. Polenta is a creamy Italian corn porridge. If you think this is ridiculous because why would you ever make polenta out of popcorn kernels? It's just nice because it's something you usually have on hand and that you haven't used all of. This is just about to expire next month, so that tells you I've probably had it for about 15 years. Polenta is a really versatile dish. Make a chunk of it, keep it in the fridge, and have fun. So we are going to start with popcorn kernels. Any kind of popcorn kernels will do. Do I care? No, I do not. 1 cup of popcorn kernels. And then we want 3 cups of water, so it's 3 to 1. And then a teaspoon of kosher salt. And a teaspoon of sugar. And that's it. So we move everything over to the stove. We turn our heat on to high because we want to get the water to boil. And we'll stir it around once just to incorporate the salt and the sugar in the water. Popcorn kernels are super hard. You cannot food process hard popcorn kernels. It does not work. You do not have the right equipment. I love this compared to oatmeal. When I cook oatmeal, I always want to put butter and brown sugar in it. You take something really nice and good for you and you just turn it into candy. But with polenta, it goes well with things that I think are a little healthier. Vegetables, it's delicious with eggs on top of it. Put sausage in it if you're a meat eater, or you just have a good vegan sausage. One thing you should do while you're waiting for the water to boil is watch the pot. It's very ancient wisdom that the more you watch the pot, the more patient you become. Actually, the thing you should really do is put the lid on because it makes it boil a lot faster. So our water is boiling. We're gonna turn it down to a simmer and we're gonna wait for 3 hours. Cover it because we don't wanna lose the water. We just wanna soften the popcorn kernels. It's been 3 hours, so it's time to check on these popcorn kernels. Let's do that. I'm gonna take off the lid. The popcorn has gotten puffy. And that's because it has absorbed a lot of water. So now it is soft enough that you can grind it. And it should be chewy.
So if your tooth snaps in half, you should keep cooking it.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely do not try to put it in the blender at that stage. So let's take this guy over here, pour him out into the blender. And I don't even need these mitts on. I don't know why I have them on anymore. I just got a little bit of kernel stuck in my mouth. I'm gonna start on low. Now that we've got this guy ground down, we can pour it to where we're gonna store it, and it should be a very thick, kind of goopy liquid. You can eat it at this point, but it'll be a little bit bland. But what I'm gonna show you how to do is season it up when you make it. So if you make a lot of it, you can store it like this, and then take it out in batches as you plan to cook dishes with it. If you taste the polenta at this stage, which I'm gonna do right now, it's gonna be very pasty. This is sort of the polenta base. You can keep this in the refrigerator for about a week. When you reheat it, you can add other liquids and flavors to it in order to make it really delicious right when you serve it. All right, so I'm gonna show you one way you can take this base polenta and turn it into something that's really delicious. I got a pot here. We're gonna put it on medium-low. Stick a little bit of polenta in there to eat, and I'm going to add a little bit of cheese. Feta works well. I love putting goat cheese in my polenta, so I'm gonna add goat cheese to it. If you don't wanna have as much fat and you've just made ricotta and saved the whey, you can put whey in there to thin it out too, and that gives it a nice rich flavor without adding a lot of fat to it. You can also put in vegetable broth or almond milk, soy milk, oat milk. All these things will make the polenta a little bit richer. Here we go. I'm gonna take a bit of cheese here. Don't be shy. I think that the amount of cheese you put in is kind of to your taste. So for me, I'm gonna put in about, I'd say that's about a tablespoon and a half. And the water will start to absorb into the polenta, and the cheese will make it all milky and creamy and goaty. You wanna keep moving it because if you don't, it'll start to spatter.
What has been your least successful polenta experiment?
One time when I had a little bit of polenta left over, I spread it out flat on a sheet and I baked it. And my thought was I'd make these delicious polenta crackers that I could eat as a snack. And it really just turned into rock hard popcorn bites, which is in every way inferior to just regular popcorn. When it's ready, it'll have this nice creamy consistency. So that's just about ready to go, and I'm gonna make us a little snack. We're gonna get some leeks, brown them in butter, put a fried egg on top, and man, this delicious brunch dish. Get these guys out here, chop off the tips. You wanna use the white up to the light green part. They have a lot of grit in them, so you have to cut them in half and rinse them out from the inside, otherwise you're gonna get sand in your food. Well, cut these in half down the middle. And now I'm gonna rinse them off from the inside to make sure to get any grit. I'm gonna chop them up real quick into these little half rounds. Leeks are a really nice, mellow alternative to onions, shallots, stuff like that. They have a very warm flavor. They're great with potatoes, they're great with corn. Give them a shot. Got about 2 cups of leeks. They've been chopped up, and we want about 2 tablespoons of butter. And we'll wait for it to start foaming up. That brown butter smell. But once our butter has started to foam, it's all melted in there, we can toss our leeks in. I'm gonna season it with some salt and a little bit of pepper. And just stir it up every once in a while until they just barely start to brown a little bit. So the leeks are just about done. They turned a nice, pretty brown color. And then we can use the same pan to fry an egg in. Heat our pan back up, put a little bit of olive oil on it, spare ourselves putting even more butter in this dish. And then we crack an egg in there. Put a lid on and time it for about a minute. I'm gonna get my polenta and I'm gonna put it into my bowl. And then when we lift the lid, feel like it's sunny side up, you're good. But if you want it a little bit more overcast, you can just keep the lid on for another minute until the top kind of glosses over. Put some of these leeks on top of the polenta in the middle. And then we have our fried egg with just barely over the top. Can stick that guy right on top here. Oh, give it a little bit of extra salt. Ooh. And then take your favorite, your favorite chili, whatever that might be. Today it looks like I grabbed Aleppo, which is, the trendy one. Just gives it that beautiful little flavor spritz. Here's our final little brunch dish. It's just one of many things you can make with polenta. Once you've made it, you can use it as the base for a lot of different dishes, shrimp and grits. I already freaking said a whole bunch of things, right? So here's just one idea with what you can do with polenta. You have a gourmet brunch now for you and all your friends. I'm gonna give this a taste. Everything's all deliciously combined. Oh man, that's so good. There's something to me, I love it when the yolks get a little runny and they kind of move over the leeks. And the creaminess of the polenta, you have kind of that salty, oniony, mellow leakiness, and then the goat cheese just, it's really good. And the polenta grounds the whole thing, No, so make some polenta.